and welcome to the Astro forecast for the week of May 17th to May 23rd. My name is Sheetal Story, and I'm a Western astrologer, and I'm here to help you navigate the energy for the week to come. So we are starting off this week in a first quarter phase. We just came off of that new moon last week, and we are now starting off the week in Mercury shadow. What does that mean? So Mercury enters into this period of time, which it'll be going over these degrees again, when it goes retrograde. So Mercury is going to be going retrograde on May 29th. So it entered shadow on the 14th. So all the days between the 14th and the 29th, you will be going over those days in a new way. So I actually got a couple of questions this week of, should I not start anything now? Is this a bad time? Technically, it's not a great time to start something new, but the benefit of starting something new now is that you have to give yourself time, because you never want to launch anything or kind of go live with something that's during Mercury retrograde. But what can happen is you can use the Mercury retrograde cycle to go over to reassess and to make your project even better. So it's not a bad time to start anything, but it is a good time to just recognize that whatever you're starting between the 14th and the 29th, you'll be going over it in a new way, to reassess, to glean some new piece of information, to do it better in some way, to review. So just know that whatever you're starting now, delay it until, it'll probably delay until June, at the end of June, when Mercury goes direct. Or you can launch it and do whatever, but you'll just learn that you have to go over it in some way, or you might lose a part of it and have to redo it in a new way. So always, patience when Mercury retrograde is concerned. Now we are also building this week towards this super full moon eclipse in Sagittarius, a fire sign. Now eclipse, it's building towards this on May 26th is when it's going to be. So that's on my next forecast. But you can just feel the pressure going to be building this week. And because we are in eclipse season, so that can also feel a little bit crazy, hectic. And evolutionary cycles happen during eclipse season. So eclipses in astrology is when the full moon or the new moon is closest to the nodes of the moon. And this full moon eclipse coming up on May 26th is going to be on the south node of the moon, which is our karmic past. So what are we releasing? So you're coming into this week understanding there's something going to be releasing in the next week on the 26th, where you are kind of understanding it in its newest. It's almost like it's in full bloom, so to speak. So it can be a very intense week. Eclipse season tends to be very intense, but depending on where it is in your chart, it might be nothing. So really it's but for the collective, we are seeing this amping up of energy. And Sagittarius is about the law. It is about higher consciousness. It is about education systems, philosophy, not in the terms of idealism, like for Pisces, but this is more of like attainment of our knowledge, trying to elevate ourselves. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes up for the collective. And we're already seeing, a lot of these wars and things of the past that haven't been finished yet, or laws being created. Sagittarius rules the law. So there can be, legal systems changing. There's change afoot. So we're seeing that. So Monday, we start off the week with a sun trine to Pluto. Now, these planets are working in a harmonious aspect with the trine, but it's intense. So the sun is our vitality. It's how we feel about ourselves. It's our individuality. And Pluto is intense. It's transformation, death, rebirth. In this aspect, it's deep introspection into ourselves about who we are and where do we want to take authority in our lives? Where are we wanting to, because it's helping us to really see where we need to heal and transform in ourselves. So this can be a really intense day if you're coming into some lessons or the outcomes of some lessons. Maybe you come into some massive realizations, or you get some sort of synchronicities for you on this day that make you realize you're on the right path and you're doing great things. Intense, inner focus, investigate, transform your life. leadership, authority, deep change is possible now. So that's really beautiful. Wednesday, May 19th, moon goes into its second quarter on this day. So it's building to that full moon. And what that means is we are exponentially growing now. So this can be feeling like things are moving ahead pretty quickly, although Mercury's in shadow. So that means it's slowing down. We might not feel that it's kind of building, but the intensity is building. So Wednesday, May 19th, Venus is trine to Saturn. This is a beautiful aspect. So Venus is what we love and value, and Saturn is our responsibilities. So we actually feel aligned with our responsibilities. We want to take care of the things that we love and value. We really want to, maybe this is our finances. We're getting our finances in order, or we're getting our house together, or we're looking after our relationships. These are deep, meaningful conversations. This is friendships coming together to help people who are going through tough times. It can be, it's very a beautiful aspect. Saturn is in Aquarius, which is the collective. So we could even be feeling this responsibility to take care of the collective. What's happening right now in Gaza is, we're seeing a lot of action on social. I'm seeing a lot of action on social media about educating around it and how can we support people, and that we're not trying to, people killing each other. This is going to be wonderful to try to help communities. I was watching the news and they were saying communities that usually coexist, Israelis and Palestinians, usually that are coexisting in the same communities, are fighting one another, which just breaks my heart, because we are humans fighting humans. Like, there's no, I don't understand what possibly we don't see eye to eye. I mean, it's over land and religion. I mean, these are these individual constructs that make us separate from each other. But in actuality, it's humans fighting humans. And so these communities are, before never been torn apart, are now being torn apart by this. And I think this Venus trine to Saturn is going to really help us to say, wait a second. How can we come together over this in some way that we can all see some form of common ground that can help this conflict? This is a conflict I remember even as a kid, it being in the news all the time, bombings, between one side and the other. And, I'll be honest, I don't understand it to the depths of it, but what kills me in my heart is these people just dying for what? Like, I just don't understand. It's dying for religion, dying for land, dying for, I mean, they're humans, right? So I think we're going to really see this, amp up this conflict, and this is going to play out in the astrology as well, because astrology works. So Thursday, Sun is going to be moving into Gemini. So happy birthday, Geminis, you party bunch. They are a wild bunch. All the Geminis I have known and do know, they are lovely, communicative, they are intellectual, so smart. Geminis by nature are very curious. They want to know a lot about a lot of different topics. The saying comes to mind, jack of all trades, master of none. Geminis love to know a lot about different things, and not to say that Geminis don't have their expertise areas. They do. There are different other parts of their chart that speaks to that for sure. But Geminis tend to have this very inquisitive nature. I like to call them the connectors of the zodiac. They always know somebody who can help you, or they know a book or a resource that can help you out. They are just always full of knowledge and wanting to be helpful with that knowledge. They're also normally quite friendly and outgoing, but they have that Gemini trait, which is kind of the introvert and the extrovert. So they can be the outgoing life of the party, and then they can also be the type of person this is like, don't call me for a bit. I just need my space to decompress. So Gemini's season is going to be full of all of these things. It's Gemini, its sun is going to be in Gemini for 4 weeks. And as it is, we will feel a curiosity. There is connection, there is community, and it's just in community within your immediate community. Aquarius is community, global community. So Gemini is individual, sort of immediate community. So that's going to be helpful to bring everybody together, and bring everybody to sort of some common goals in place here. Curiosity is going to be lovely because it's not going to be about judgment. It's going to be opening. This is a very mutable air sign. So it's about ideas, intellect, inspiration coming in. But We've already been feeling this because Mercury and Venus are already in Gemini. We've been feeling a little bit scattered. So this sun coming into Gemini season, if you are an earth sign or a fixed sign, so earth signs are Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, you have a hard time in Gemini season because it just feels like everything is wobbly. And if you're an air sign, this feels like, all right, I'm into the air sign stuff. So it's, it really depends on your chart. I personally find Gemini season very difficult to get things done because your mind is just scattered. You just are literally all over the place. You can really get distracted. There's a lot of, distractions out there, right? Free courses and free webinars and free summits and sign up for this free thing and this newsletter. And, hey, I am guilty of that too. I actually really try not to launch sort of free stuff during Gemini season, just because I don't really want to add to that. But I do have courses that are launching there too. But that's really to help people come into alignment with their soul. So it's interesting when you start to notice these things pulling to you. I really try to unsubscribe to a lot of things during that time, just so I can focus on the things that are really important to me. So that'll be really important for you to keep in mind. Where can you, less scattered and kind of put things in place that are a pattern interrupt for that scattering. And on a positive, it's intellect, it is leadership. Leadership is Aries. Friendship, that's what I wrote down here. Immediate community, learning, speaking, very communicative sign. So really great time to socialize, to be curious, to be intellectual, knowledge and diversity and motivating. It is very motivating. Sun is going to square Jupiter on Friday, May 21st. Now, Sun is our individuality and Jupiter is optimism, expansion, and abundance. So when it's in a square, it's really interesting. It can feel like it's a positive or it can feel like a negative. It really depends on how you use it. So, a square is considered a crisis, challenging to integrate, and that's what I'm looking for. And so with Sun and squaring Jupiter, this is a propensity for you to overcommit on this day, Friday. So be careful not to overcommit, spread yourself too thin, overdo, thinking you got to do and you can do all these things. So it can be a big ego. It can also be overindulgence, going overboard with the spending or the eating, or, it can affect your waistline with Jupiter. Whatever Jupiter touches, it expands. So see that. Touches your debt, it can expand that too. So it's, it depends on how you use it, right? On its positive form, it can be optimistic, confident, proud. It's really about moderation and discipline on this day. So really moderate. Don't go too far the other way. Jupiter will want you to be like, I can do everything and let me at it. And then after the day goes, you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? So be careful with that. All right, as we get into Saturday, May 22nd, we've got Mercury square to Neptune. Now, Mercury is slowing down now. It is in Gemini here, and then Neptune's in Pisces. So what this is Mercury's our mind, and Neptune is the fog. It's deception, it's confusion in a square. So what this is saying is that you feel like you don't quite know what decision to make. You feel confused. You feel like you can't make a decision. I'm going to say this with the most love in my heart. Saturday, May 22nd, do not make any major decisions. Don't do it. Because I feel like after that, you're going to be like, what the hell did I just do? Or you'll find out later that maybe you committed to a lemon, or whatever you are doing is going to have a hidden agenda underneath that you sort of would have seen if you'd waited. So that's nothing really to do with the Mercury shadow, although it is, because as Mercury goes retrograde, you might see the opportunity in a new light, maybe have regrets. And then when Mercury goes direct, you might have an opportunity to do it again. So I would just say, don't commit to anything on Saturday. Don't make a decision. There's a lack of clarity here. Misunderstandings are prominent on this day, and misinterpretations. So jumping to conclusions on this day too. So you just don't really know the whole story, and do not gossip on this day because it will come back to haunt you. I mean, really, you shouldn't be gossiping any other time. Should have shame. Sorry about that. But gossiping is talking about someone else's life, and it's really not for you to talk about, right? So normally when you're doing that, you're deflecting off yourself or you're projecting to somebody else's life. So this can be also about idealism and having a difficulty relating to the real world too. So you might feel like nobody understands me and you're just seeing all these terrible things on social media. Just a great day to sleep, to have an inner day on this day. Because Neptune is spirituality, this would be a great day to meditate. It would be a great day to read a book, to do some writing. Definitely not a great day to communicate hard feelings. Don't do it. Sunday is a big day. Saturn is going retrograde. So what that means is Saturn is already slowed down and probably stationary direct for most of this week. And when Saturn goes retrograde, it is about our responsibilities become heightened. It is about scarcity. It's about fear. It is about where are we taking, where aren't we taking responsibility in our life? And what are we trying to shirk our duties on? And maybe we're trying to escape Gemini season to doing everything that we're not supposed to be doing. Saturn retrograde, is going to bring you back with a vengeance. So Saturn retrograde is a time where we are working hard. If you can work hard at the things that you want, have discipline, that's another Saturn word, and look over what are the structures in your life that are no longer serving you. What are the beliefs and the things that you've created your life around, the value system. Value is more Taurus, but Saturn is more about our responsibilities and the structures of our lives. And where can we now do away with some of those things or restructure our lives to be in alignment, Pisces with, or sorry, Aquarius, with what we really want, with the higher consciousness of the community of the world. Where are we going here as a collective? So some of the things I wrote, Saturn is also the Lord of Karma in Vedic astrology. So karma really just means a life lesson, right? Have you learned your life lesson? If you haven't, it will come back around again. Karma comes back around again every time until we learn it. That is why we're here in this human world. And so this Lord of Karma, he is he in masculine, and he will come back now in a way of sorting out karma is really what they say about Saturn retrograde. Now during this time, to make things a little bit more intense, because that super full moon eclipse ain't going to be intense enough, there is this opposition this whole year that's bringing up, this is what 2021 is about. Saturn, square, Saturn square to Uranus. And so Uranus is the great awakener, chaos. It's in the earth sign. So that is earthquakes. So what's happening now when Saturn is going retrograde, it is now coming back into exactitude. So we're going to see Saturn come back around and become extremely strong in this square exact. And that is going to add more pressure to the collective. So Saturn is about old structures. How can we release the old? And Uranus is new. It is technology, it's evolution, it's higher consciousness, it is really evolution of society. But we can't do it if we're holding on to these old laws, old hates, old ideals. I mean, ideals is Neptune, but in Pisces, which that's going to play a part in this coming week as well. But as these two planets are playing back and forth, this now retrograde is going to make that, it's almost like they go past each other and then they go back forth and they go past each other. And so when they come back into exact, we feel it very strongly. So that's going to play out during the full moon coming up. So restructure yourself in your life around your responsibility as it relates to humanity, community, and evolving the evolution of the world. Hard work will be rewarded. Sort out your karma, limitations, anxiety, and fear. Restriction and scarcity can come to mind now. Saturn relates usually to career and being an authority figure. Retrograde is a slowdown, so take your time, do it right. Okay, it's a time to recognize where the problem is and work it out. Well considered, methodical, patient, step-by-step approach. That is Saturn. So don't let it scare you. This is, again, everything for an opportunity. This is all working for our evolvement, for our moving forward as a collective. How it plays out in your chart will be individual to you. So if you need a chart reading, I give you your year ahead by aspects and what to expect for the year. It is hugely satisfying to do these sessions for people because the number one thing I hear from people is, oh, I'm not crazy. oh, I'm not weird. Like, no, you're exactly on time. You really are. So this Saturn retrograde is going to really help you to see that you are on time, and anything that you were attached to that's being, trying to fall away, that's where the sadness comes in. That's where the grief comes in. So what can you release now to really move forward into your life? And what have you been procrastinating on? And what's the fear underneath it? And is it even real? Those are things that we work on in coaching. So I hope this helps you this week. Like I said, as we build to this Sunday, the 23rd, to the Saturn retrograde, there's going to then be this full moon coming up a few days afterwards. So there's a building and amping and pressure. So really taking time to get into your self-care, to take care of yourself, to be kind to yourself and to other people who are going through their own tough times. And if you feel the stress building, take a meditation class or listen to a meditation or a hypnosis class. I have a hypnosis class coming up for empaths, and it's wonderful because you don't have to think about anything. I do the work for you, and you glean all the nuggets of wisdom from it. So you can even do a self hypnosis online and just kind of find something that works for you to help you decompress and de-stress from the world around you. And if you see things in your life that are trying to come to life, or you can feel something is trying to be birthed, know that you are not alone. There's a lot of us in this society that are going through this. This is a period of massive evolution for the collective. And as we come out of this pandemic, they're finally talking about the end of this pandemic and masks coming off and all that stuff at different parts of the world, and concerts coming back. It feels so juicy, right? I mean, it's almost like the end is coming. Will we ever go back to the way it was? No. I mean, no. This virus is going to be around forever, but we can come back to some new sense of normalcy and still come back into connection and retreats and conferences again. Oh, I love connecting in person. I'm a huge hugger. And so, pandemic hasn't been so good for us huggers. And how can we hug now and feel comfortable? I always ask first before, can I hug you? But really, that is something I'm so looking forward to for myself, and seeing how this is all going to work out for everybody. We're all on our own journeys, but we're in it together. You are important to the evolution of the world. So wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Please do leave a comment, and so I can thank you for being here and all your support. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye.